Hey everybody, it's Rene and welcome to another episode of Revv. Well, what car do we have for you today? Well, especially in Singapore with the push from the car brands to compete in the already tough market, the luxury car market, especially the SUV market, has been seeing some noticeable growth with every brand looking to offer you luxury in a smaller package. And one such brand which has a really strong following here in Singapore is Audi. And today we check out the all-new Audi Q3 1.4 TFSI. The first Q3 was introduced way back in 2012, and since then a whole bunch of updates have been done to the car. And of course the Q3 being the baby brother of the Q5 and the Q7. As with all updates, we see a number of new and improved features in the all-new Q3. One being that it offers you 17% better fuel economy and a 10 bhp increase in horsepower. More vroom vroom.
And let's now find out the power under the hood. The Audi is powered by a 1395cc 4 cylinders inline with a 16 valves turbocharged engine, which delivers 150 bhp and has 250 Newton meters of torque, going from 0 to 100 in 8.9 seconds. Top speed is 204 kilometers per hour. It has a 6-speed automatic S-tronic transmission system. The Q3 does about 16.7 kilometers per liter of fuel, with CO2 emissions being 139 grams per kilometer. Its fuel tank can hold 64 liters of fuel. At first glance, the Q3 really does have its premium look, which is pretty evident in all the new Audis rolling off the factory. In the front, we have the sculptured single-frame grille, which kind of defines the Q3. Globally, the redesigned headlights come standard with Xenon Plus technology and LED daytime running lights. Those of us here in Singapore will have the models featuring the LED headlights as standard. The coupe-like roofline and sharply sloped D pillars give the silhouette an impressive and really sporty look. In terms of dimensions, the Q3 remains virtually unchanged. It measures 4.39 meters long, 1.83 meters wide, and 1.5 meters high. The wheelbase is unchanged as well at 2.60 meters. A lot of car brands don't really put much thought into the rear ends of their cars. Well, Audi has not been one of them, fortunately. Okay, we have the rear sculpted wraparound tailgate, a characteristic feature of the Audi Q models. Audi offers them in combination with the dynamic turn signals for the rear integrated into the Lightwise redesigned LED taillights. These intuitive turn signals illuminate sequentially within 0.2 of a second from the inside out in the direction the driver intends to turn. We also have the boot, 460 liters, which is quite a bit of boot space, and if you put the seats down you get 1,365 liters, which is hell of a lot of space in my opinion. There's also the power trunk, which means the entire car can be locked at the touch of a single button. There's also the dual tailpipes on the left. Time to explore the interior of the Audi Q3. First of all, it seats 5 comfortably. There's also powered seats for the driver. We have the MMI screen, which shows things like your car management system, media controls, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. It has some really great ergonomics, and in terms of workmanship and materials, this is really premium in the Audi Q3. We also have the Audi Drive Select, which allows you to control things like your different modes, efficiency, comfort, auto, and even dynamic.
We decided to bring a guest on board with us who happens to be a good friend of ours and who happens to be a real car enthusiast, car nut, like all of us here. Yeah, his name's Glenn. Glenn, how are you, man?
Hey guys, hey.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on this segment of the show, Rene.
No worries. Okay, so Glenn, tell us a bit about yourself before we start talking about the Audi Q3.
Well, as what Rene said, I'm a car nut. So for me, one of my personal hobbies would be to go around and to drive cars, to go for driving experiences, to actually find out more about what the new cars have to offer in terms of the drivability, the technology, and also the more of the handling and the comfort of each and every car.
Right. Just to give you an idea, just name some of the cars that you basically own or also driven over this period of time.
Over this period of time, well, at this moment I'm currently driving 6 Series convertible from BMW.
Okay.
I also have a Porsche 911 Carrera S. Nice. So as you can tell, it's more of the
Sporty.
More the sporty, yes, kind of the cars which are lower down.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's precisely the reason I wanted you on board, because I wanted the opinion of somebody who's always been driving a sports car to give us their thoughts on what it is like to drive an SUV. So you're the best candidate basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So as you were saying.
So so I guess today will be a very interesting experience for me to actually test drive an SUV, especially the Audi Q3, which I've heard so much about and read so much about on the car magazines and things like that.
Yeah.
So we want to give me a slight introduction to this car, Rene?
Okay, sure. Well, once again, just to give you a little bit of basics, because I basically want you to kind of experience the car yourself.
Okay.
So this is the Audi Q3 1.4. It's basically an facelifted version of the previous version of the Q3, which Audi has. So a lot of it is for this version has been basically a lot of cosmetic works, because in terms of the dimensions, length, height, you name it, it's exactly the same as the previous Audi Q3. But that being said, a whole bunch of technological improvements has been done to this car. So in terms of horsepower, there's an increase of 10 horsepower. So you actually get about 150 bhp on this guy with 250 newton meters of torque, which I think is a whole lot in terms of a car. If you're looking for a car that, especially with 1.4, to have that extra power when you drive. So yeah, that in a nutshell is basically as much information I'm going to give you. The rest is for you to explore the car yourself.
Okay. Well, perhaps I could just give you my first impressions of driving in an SUV.
Right.
So the very first thing which I got into the car, what I noticed is that, you have a great view of the road, especially now that you're sitting much higher up.
Definitely.
It's a great commanding view. And one thing I must comment about Audi would be that this particular Q3, when you look straight down in front, what you realize is that the bonnet is slightly inclined and it's not too long, unlike some of the other SUVs out there. So this gives you a great view of the road, and you don't really feel that you're driving a humongous car, although the size of it is actually pretty big. So with this great view which you have with the huge mirrors at the side, what you realize is that it gives you very great visibility of the road, and for you to actually be able to handle the car and to drive it safely and with the confidence to get you from point A to point B.
Right. So what else do you think about the car itself?
Well, I guess let's start off with the dashboard.
Okay.
The dashboard here. Well, what I can see is that it's a very simple display which Audi has, and when you actually the touch and feel of it, it's actually pretty good to begin with, especially if you are thinking about this is actually the basic model, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you realize it's actually soft plastic, which gives a slightly more luxurious feel. And I guess you really need to have this luxurious feel because the perceived value of the Q series in Audi tends to be more of the luxury segment, I would say. Yeah. Now, if you actually move down to the center of the dashboard, what you realize is that all the aircon vents are here, the controls of the aircon, and the radio are over here. Well, to me, I would say that it seems to me that this center console here is more for the passenger rather than the driver, because in this sitting position, it's a bit difficult to actually press on the buttons to change channels, to adjust the aircon controls while you're driving. But to me personally, I would prefer it to be more on the driver's console down here, where it's easily handled. But I would say Audi actually makes up for it very well, because all the controls can also be found on the steering wheel itself.
I was going to say that as well.
Yeah, correct. So you actually have voice commands. You are able to control the navigation with a scroll button on the steering wheel, and also the radio controls. So that's actually a pretty nice touch which Audi did over here.
Yeah. So I mean, this car basically is, from what I've driven in Audis, it's very driver orientated in certain aspects, because as you mentioned, you want something which is basically easy for you to reach. You don't want to kind of get out of the way, especially when you're driving. You don't take your concentration off the road. So that being said, as you noticed, as you mentioned, Audi has actually implemented a lot of driving controls, in terms of speed, whatever you need to know within that steering wheel. So it's easy for you to not take your hands off the steering wheel, but concentrate on the road, which is where you're supposed to be putting your concentration on.
Yep, totally agree with that. I mean, the controls on the steering wheel is simply actually quite intuitive, so I would say this will be a great plus point. And also what I noticed on the steering wheel is that they have sports grip, so it gives you kind of a sporty feel when you're actually driving the car. I mean, that's what people want from an SUV, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk comfort now in the car. What's your thoughts on the comfort in the Q3?
After driving it for a few minutes, I would say that
You mentioned you want something which is basically easy for you to reach. You don't want to kind of get out of the way, especially when you're driving. You don't take your concentration off the road. So that being said, as you noticed, as you mentioned, Audi has actually implemented a lot of driving controls, in terms of speed, whatever you need to know within that steering wheel. So it's easy for you to not take your hands off the steering wheel, but concentrate on the road, which is where you're supposed to be putting your concentration on.
Yep, totally agree with that. I mean, the controls on the steering wheel is simply actually quite intuitive, so I would say this will be a great plus point.
Okay.
And also what I noticed on the steering wheel is that they have sports grip, so it gives you kind of a sporty feel when you're actually driving the car. I mean, that's what people want for an SUV, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk comfort now in the car. What's your thoughts on the comfort in the Q3?
After driving it for a few minutes, I would say that the suspension is actually pretty soft, so it kind of cushions the road. You don't really feel the road that much.
Okay.
So it really ties in very nicely with the luxurious factor which the Q series is going for.
Okay.
Yeah, and the seats which I'm sitting on, just by the touch and feel of it, it seems to me that it's genuine leather.
Yeah, it is.
And it's pretty impressive because I guess some of the other models, some of the other car brands, they don't really provide genuine leather on the basic models, but Audi actually does that. So pretty impressed with that.
Another point now, which I think everybody's going to be very interested in, is which you will test for yourself as well, is power. So let's kind of touch on power for now and see what. Give me your thoughts on the power.
Okay, so let's see. Well, I guess we're on a straight road now, so perhaps we want to accelerate.
Okay, go
a
for
bit.
it.
Well, definitely the sound of this car is nice. For those who are in for the sporty feel of it, definitely I think this would be something which you would choose. But I must say that I think this car has a very deep first gear. So what this means to say is that for a car this size, it provides pretty decent acceleration off the line.
Right.
So if you're ever in a situation whereby you are the first car in the traffic light and you know that you need to cross 2 or 3 lanes before the next junction to make your turn, then I think this is the car which will give you that acceleration to actually make those moves. And the confidence, especially like you say for lady drivers, right? Sometimes they might be afraid to actually cut 2 or 3 lanes, things like that. Yeah, so I think this is pretty awesome.
Because the thing is that with Audi they have this thing called the S-tronic transmission, which is basically dual clutch technology. So that's the reason why you get that really instantaneous pickup from gear to gear change, and you don't get a usual, a jerk, which some other cars, especially who say that they got dual clutch technology, but actually when you drive you feel that jerk going from gear to gear. But with S-tronic, I think what Audi have done is they've made the gear changes very smooth, you don't actually feel it changing, but you can actually feel that power coming in through the RPM range.
Yeah, and
I think you're feeling it right now.
Yeah, and that adds on to the comfort of the car, because you don't really want the jerk to be available each time you change gears.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now what you also notice about the car is that the torque is available at the lower power band.
Right.
So you have instantaneous power each time you step on the accelerator. So this also helps in giving the driver confidence, and also makes it easier to actually change lanes and things like that, and to overtake cars in front of you. Yeah. But so in terms of it being a 1.4 liter, then how's the fuel efficiency like for this car?
Fuel efficiency, I'd be surprised. Everybody be thinking turbocharged car drinks a lot of fuel. Well, for what Audi has claimed does about 16.7 kilometers per liter of fuel. And we've done our own little road test much earlier on, and we're getting about 14 to 15, which I think for a 1.4 turbo, that's pretty decent, kind of decent range for an SUV size like.
Yeah,
like
I would agree. And I guess this car is only I heard it's less than 1.4 tons. So I guess the lightweight of it gives it the better fuel economy, than other heavier SUVs out there.
Okay. So Glenn. So what would you your thoughts right now? What recommendations? Say if somebody who's looking to buy an SUV, what's your opinion? What your thoughts would you want to give away to anybody who's watching our show right now?
Well, I would say that I definitely recommend the Audi Q3 because for myself personally, when I transitioned from a low driver's position in a sports car to something higher up, it just doesn't feel that this car is so big that it gives me the confidence to just drive it, and I would say that it's comfortable enough to be driven every day for any occasion, because you can drive it to send your kid to work, you can send your kid to school. You can actually drive it for occasions whereby you want to appear in a more glamorous setting.
Right.
Because the exterior of the car just seems
very
luxurious enough for it. Yeah, it's very
executive.
executive kind of a feel to it. And so definitely for people who are new to the experience of driving an SUV and want someone who and for someone who's looking for something easy to drive, then definitely I would recommend a Q3 for them.
Right, because at the end of the day, once again, Singapore is a very expensive place to own a car, as I think you know very well. So you want to get a car that's going to be, which will have multiple roles. So whether it's for work or for play, you want a car that kind of adapts to both situations in your lifestyle. And I think this car actually kind of does it for you, in that aspect. So once again, Glenn, we want to thank you for joining us here on Revv and joining us on this show and letting us know more about what you feel about the Q3. Really a pleasure having you. Of course, we'll be calling you more to come on board and join us right here on Revv. So once again, Glenn, thank you, and you caught it right here on Revv Motoring.
Okay, to summarize the whole drive experience in all Audi Q3. Well, first of all, I know what everybody's thinking. There's so many choices for you to choose from, especially for the SUV car market. But with the Audi Q3, honestly, when I drove it, I was really surprised that it is a 1.4-liter car, being turbocharged, of course. There's so many options for you to choose from this car itself, and I think for the money you're paying, it is really something that you definitely want to consider. So let's talk options in the all-new Audi Q3. There's a number of color packages you can actually choose from, and also we have the Audi S-Line Sports Package and S-Line Exterior Package. So let's talk pricing and how much it's going to cost you to get a Q3 on the road. If you're looking to buy the Q3 1.4 variant, which is the one we have, it's going to cost you $183,300 inclusive of COE. If you're looking to get a 2-liter variant, well, it's going to cost you $213,900. We want to say a big Revv thank you to Premium Automobiles for allowing us to have the Audi Q3 for our presentation. To find out more about the Q3 and the rest of the Audi range, visit their showroom at Alexandra Road. Well, this wraps up yet another episode of Revv. To find out more about all the vehicles we have reviewed thus far, check out our website at the link above. To join us for the next episode, this is Renee, signing off.